to Nevada this week for a sci-fi tour of Las Vegas.
You were always my favorite. Always.
Behind the scenes of the new X-Files movie and one reviewer's opinion.
Plus, our sci-fi best bets. And long before the X-Files, the man who scared moviegoers in the 50s. You've entered the sci-fi entertainment galaxy. I'm Chase Masterson.
And I'm Scott Nance. Before we get into the X-Files movie, which we've got lots of news about, here's the latest buzz from the Sci-Fi Wire.
Mr. Paris, set a course for home.
Star Trek Voyager, heading for Earth? I know, you've heard it 1,000 times, but it may actually happen next year. With executive producer Jerry Taylor leaving the show, co-executive producer Brandon Braga will take greater control of the lost starship. And Braga says there's a strong possibility that Voyager will make it back to Earth in Season 5. I think most Trekkers will agree. It's about time. The Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films presented their 24th annual Saturn Awards at a gala banquet last week in Los Angeles. The event drew many of Hollywood's sci-fi royalty. Scott has the winners of the major awards.
Bond. James Bond.
Pierce Brosnan won Best Actor for Tomorrow Never Dies, and Jodie Foster won Best Actress for Contact. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was named Best Network Genre Series, while The Outer Limits won for Cable. Starship Troopers nabbed the award for Best Special Effects. John Woo won Best Director for Face Off. Men in Black took home the Saturn for Best Sci-Fi Film. And Godzilla and ID4 producer Dean Devlin received the George Powell Memorial Award.
And if you want daily sci-fi news updates, check out the online Sci-Fi Wire. Just point your browser to www.scifi.com.
Now, I've already seen the X-Files movie, and I loved it.
But, of course, you're already a member of the Gillian Anderson Testosterone Brigade.
Well, that's why I asked Amanda Finch to check out the film and give us her unbiased opinion.
Really annoying the making of the X-Files movie special that keeps running on TV? You know the one that doesn't explain anything about the X-Files movie, the one that just teases you with glimpses of shadowy men and hints of on-screen romance. Well, guess what? Today they're going to charge you $8 to see it. Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil any big secrets for you about the X-Files movie. I don't know any big secrets. Yeah, I watched the movie, and here's what I learned. First of all, that there's a government conspiracy.
And you have conclusive evidence of this?
Second, it involves aliens, I think.
So much for little green man.
Third, Mulder and Scully may or may not be in love.
They're trying to divide us on this, and we can't let them.
Nor do they have divided us.
After 5 seasons, I was hoping for a little more. After 5 seasons, I was hoping that the explanation to the whole thing wouldn't read like an episode of Dark Skies. X-Files Fight the Future begins in the past, 50,000 BC. A couple of prehistoric Texans pick a fight with an otherworldly bully and lay the groundwork for Spooky Mulder's life work.
I'm the key figure in an ongoing government charade. The plot to conceal the truth about the existence of extraterrestrials.
To be fair, the movie starts with a bang, literally, and keeps you jumping with explosions, killer bees, monstrous aliens, black helicopters, and another Scully near-death experience. Scully has become like Kenny on South Park. She's been abducted, implanted, tattooed, given cancer. Maybe next season she'll get poisoned on the tetherball court. Anderson and Duchovny are strong and comfortable in their on-screen skins. I was glad to see that the spirit of their relationship was maintained, even if character development was skimped on in favor of more chase scenes. The lone gunmen make a delicious little cameo. Martin Landau plays a lovable kook that I'd love to see again, and the soundtrack rocks. The problem is that there's nothing in X-Files Fight the Future that couldn't have been done in a 2-parter on TV. Okay, there are some cool effects, but that's not why I watched the X-Files. Okay, I understand that Chris Carter wanted to keep enough mystery in the show so that he could still come back in the fall. So don't make a movie. Wait until you have something to say that requires epic big screen proportions and $8 a head. Wait until you're ready to actually solve the mystery. Wait until you're ready to make a movie. I'm Amanda Finch, and that's just my opinion.
What is Fox Mulder's nickname at the FBI? The answer in a moment.
They call me Spooky. Spooky Mulder.
Agent Fox Mulder's FBI nickname is Spooky. He got it due to his belief in the paranormal. Okay, last week we spoke to Chris Carter and Gillian Anderson, and we just reviewed the X-Files movie. Now, at long last, it's time for my favorite X-Man, David Duchovny.
We're just X-Files all the time. Welcome to the X-Files Network. QVC, X-Files, we're selling posters, X-Files rings, X-Files watches. We've got a bust of Chris Carter that says the truth is out there.
David Duchovny's a little overwhelmed these days. The X-Files TV series has pretty much consumed his life for the last 5 years. And now, with the X-Files film in theaters, he's busy promoting that as well.
Well, we're FBI agents.
You're not FBI agents,
How do you know?
because y'all look like door-to-door salesmen.
Away from the set, David will finally be able to spend more time with his wife, Deep Impact star Téa Leoni. The X-Files is setting up shop in Los Angeles after calling Vancouver home for the past 5 years.
I find it nice to go home to Téa every day, you know, now that we live in the same city. I find it, you get to think about important things more and think about the extraneous business less.
David says that like any married couple, he and Téa have had a few fights, but nothing major. I wondered if the X-Files movie had opened the same weekend as Deep Impact, how that might have affected their relationship.
It would have been a problem for Deep Impact, I think. But Deep Impact was a good film. We were both really pleasantly surprised at that. I mean, I'm not like a big disaster film fan, and I thought it was really well done, and she was happy with it too.
At the moment, the couple have no plans for children, but David does envision being a dad one day.
I hope I would be a good one, you know. I hope that I would be a good listener. I always think, you know, your parents make mistakes with you like they have to, and then you grow up and you don't make those mistakes. You make different ones, you know. So I'm looking forward to seeing the mistakes that I make. I know the ones that I won't make.
While Duchovny's parenting skills have not been tested yet, his X-Files character is considered a role model by many of the show's young fans. But critics have questioned if the dark and often disturbing subject matter is something kids should be watching.
What killed those men?
What killed them, I won't even write about. We have no context for what killed those men.
Thinking back to when I was a kid, I know that I had a rich, scary imagination. You know, you enjoy being scared as a kid. So I think it's kid nature to love to be scared. And all the other stuff that may be harmful or difficult for children to handle, I don't think they get it. You know, I think it just, they don't even care about story half the time. They just care that it's dark and other people are scared. You know, that's what they get into.
Both kids and adults seem to be into the X-Files. The series now averages 20 to 30 million viewers each week who tune in to watch alien abductions, macabre murders, and mysterious monsters. I guess you're never too old for a good scare.
With the X-Files now in theaters frightening moviegoers, it got me thinking of those great scare fests of the 50s and 60s. The man behind many of those films was William Castle. William Castle, the master of movie horror, was also the ultimate showman. In the late 50s and early 60s, he spooked, shocked, and buzzed the behinds of millions of theatergoers, eager to have the pants scared off them. His use of gadgetry and gimmicks to sell a film is now the stuff of Hollywood film lore. In The Tingler, for example, he rigged theater seats with buzz boxes.
You will feel some of the physical reactions, the shocking sensations experienced by the actors on the screen. I guarantee that The Tingler has more shocks per minute than my last film, The House on Haunted Hill.
I'm Vincent Price. You're invited to my party in the House on Haunted Hill.
When Castle put one of Hollywood's greatest horror stars, Vincent Price, in his movie House on Haunted Hill, the end product was one of the classic genre films of all time. But even with a surefire box office draw like Price, he still threw in Amerigo, whereby a skeleton would fly over the audience and scare them half to death. One of Castle's most popular ploys was the fright break. He personally guaranteed every audience member their money back if they were too frightened to see the film's shocking climax. Of course, the money had to be redeemed at the Coward's Corner.
Do you think it's fair to tell the ending of a picture like this to your friend?
No.
Why not?
Well, well, for one thing, if they're going to see it, it spoils it. And for another thing, let them pay their 70 cents and see it and find out for themselves.
Thank you very much.
Castle's biggest casting coup came when Mommy Dearest herself, Joan Crawford, agreed to star in the Castle chiller Straight Jacket.
Leave me alone!
In Straight Jacket, Crawford plays a deranged mother/axe murderess. So much more effective than wire hangers, don't you think?
Do you believe in ghosts? I do. And you will too, when you come to this theater and see my picture, 13 Ghosts. No more dictation today.
Whether he was hawking supernatural viewers that allowed audiences to penetrate the spirit world in 13 Ghosts, or selling life insurance policies in Macabre, William Castle knew how to titillate the audience's horror taste buds better than anyone else.
Next up, Scott and I take a road trip to Las Vegas, a location that may be the sci-fi capital of the world. Get more in-depth stories from Sci-Fi Entertainment magazine by calling 1-800-77-SCI-FI. Wasn't our trip to Vegas fun?
We sure did a lot. I never realized there was so much sci-fi in Vegas.
Let's roll the tape and show everyone the best places to stay, hang out, and play. We have the ultimate vacation for fans of sci-fi and fantasy. There's so much to do in Vegas that Scott and I suggest you make notes as you dash through the town with us. We'll put our notes on the screen as we go along. First, if you want to escape into a land of fantasy, you have to choose the right hotel. And for many visitors, the perfect place to immerse themselves in an imaginary realm is here, at the Excalibur Hotel Casino. The theme is a magical castle, complete with moat and medieval village. Highlighting the sword and sorcery style entertainment, a dinner show featuring a jousting tournament. But there's also plenty of free entertainment from strolling jugglers and world-class magicians.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow, all right.
Nice.
That was nice. Another hotel casino that takes you on a magical fantasy adventure is the Luxor, where you'll time travel back to the magical lost civilization of ancient Egypt. This place has the feel of an archaeological dig in one of those old Universal mummy movies. The decor is awesome. Check it out.
Who's this?
This is Ra. This is the god of the sun. The 30-story glass pyramid houses the world's largest atrium. In that massive space, you'll discover a number of attractions, like a high-tech arcade called Virtual Land, and a state-of-the-art motion simulator ride. Next week, we'll take you on it. Meanwhile, Chase wants to play games.
Obviously, one of the main reasons to come to Vegas is to gamble. And if you'd like to try your luck at some galactic gaming, the place to do it is the Space Quest Casino at the Las Vegas Hilton. The idea is that you're aboard a 24th century space station. You can't play Dabo, my game on Deep Space Nine, but the slot machines do have a futuristic spin. They are activated by breaking a light beam.
Hey! All right! Yeah. Okay! When it comes to dining, you can continue the fantastical theme here at Caesar's Magical Empire, where dinner comes with wizards, sorcery, and poltergeists. Caesar's Palace has turned dining into a fantasy adventure in an ancient underground world. The journey leads you through misty catacombs to a dining chamber. There, dinner is served as a sorcerer weaves magic spells. The multi-course feast celebrates Roman decadence. After dinner, there's live magical entertainment in 2 theaters, plus the Luminaria show. It combines a visit from a wizard with lighting effects and dancing fire.
Star Trek fan, the place to eat is Quark's Bar at the Las Vegas Hilton. And I can tell you, this place looks more like Quark's than Quark's does. The establishment is a one-to-one replica of the Ferengi-owned watering hole where I work on Deep Space Nine. It offers futuristic food and colorful alien drinks. Plus, there's sparkling conversation with the extraterrestrial staff.
The first question I usually get is, how do I get my teeth looking so good?
When you leave Quark's Bar, you'll discover that Vegas provides some great places for sci-fi fans to shop. Just outside the restaurant, 4 Star Trek gift shops beckon. Like Quark's, they're part of the Star Trek The Experience attraction at the Hilton. Combined, these establishments sell more than 1,100 Trek items. % of the merchandise is sold exclusively here. Items range from mugs to this one-of-a-kind handmade Captain Kirk chair.
You were always my favorite. Always.
Since Scott and I are both Trek fans, we love these shops.
But I've got to say that another cool place to shop is the mammoth FAO Schwartz toy store. It's located in the Forum Shops at Caesar's Palace. The store devotes an entire department just to Star Wars.
I've been waiting for you, Obi-Wan. We meet again at last.
They've decked out the place with interactive displays. There are full-size replicas of many of the Star Wars characters. You can order intergalactic drinks at a cantina with entertainment from alien musicians featured in the first film. And Star Wars spaceships hang from the ceiling. I talked about these design elements with FAO Schwartz Amy Chickering. How involved was George Lucas with this?
Actually, he helped with the design of everything. In conjunction with FAO Schwartz, they came and implemented everything, put it all together. We're very, very indebted to them for the tremendous work that they put into this incredible creation.
The department sells every kind of Star Wars merchandise that the marketing people could come up with. They must have stayed up pretty late dreaming up this one.
It's a pen. It's a sucker.
The store also has a section for Lost in Space merchandise and Jurassic Park products. FAO Schwartz and Steven Spielberg's company worked together to conceive the Jurassic Park department.
You have to be careful not to be stomped on. There's actually a foot of a dinosaur that comes out of the ceiling that kind of wants to stomp on you as you walk by.
On next week's show, we'll continue our trip to Vegas. We'll take you on the high-tech sci-fi and fantasy rides and show you some special effects extravaganzas. You know, it's amazing how much sci-fi merchandise we go through each week.
We get the good and the bad. We'll only tell you about the good stuff.
Well, you don't have time or money to wade through everything, so we do the work for you.
I've been examining some things here. It looks to me like they've been studying the effects of different mutagens on genetic material.
If you don't think the X-Files movie will satisfy your conspiracy cravings, the new X-Files CD-ROM game might do the trick. What makes this a best bet is that even the top computer gamers will need up to 30 hours to solve this X-Files case.
Are you Dana Scully?
Players become an FBI junior field agent and interact with Scully and Mulder, examine clues, and try to solve an extremely intricate mystery.
Cover me. You got it.
There are also places in the game where good marksmanship comes into play. The X-Files game is available for both Windows 95 and Power Macintosh computers. We also like 2 rockin' movie soundtracks just released. Check out the X-Files soundtrack album featuring the Foo Fighters, the band X, and this cover version of the Three Dog Night hit One by Filter.
you're a fan of the Wallflowers, the Godzilla soundtrack album is another best bet. It also features a remix of Green Day's Brain Stew, as well as the hip-hop Puff Daddy hit Come With Me, which samples Led Zeppelin's classic, Kashmir.
Come with me.
Those are this week's best bets. That's Sci-Fi Entertainment for today.
Time flies when you're talking sci-fi. We'll see you next week.